Hello. Welcome back, everybody. If you will remember, last week we started planning out and mapping out our website strategy planning app, and we are going to do more of that today. I talked a lot during the last stream, and to be honest, right now my voice is a little bit sore, so I'm going to be doing a lot of working, not a lot of yapping. If there's something interesting, I'll be sure to let you guys know. But in the meantime, have a lovely time. Shout yourselves out in chat whenever you get here. And let's get on with it. So we were in the middle of mapping out all of the questions that we came up for the development section of the app. And let's keep going from there. Oh, you know what? I forgot to post that I'm streaming on Facebook. Shoot. Give me but a moment, my friends. Still juicing this good content. Alright, back to the app. Hello, Julie. Thank you for joining us. I am currently working on my website strategy planning app. I've been so deathly quiet for the past couple of minutes, well, really for the entire stream, because my throat hurts a little bit and there's a lot to be done. But the majority of the work that we're doing right now is we're mapping out all of the questions that this app is going to ask the user, the possible paths that it will go down, the different features that we're going to embed in here, and at the end of the day, how we're going to be customizing this end report that we're going to deliver to the user as a result of using this app. I just got your text. I am seeing your comments on YouTube. Sorry. I wasn't paying attention. I was in the zone. I was vibing. So where was I? Yes, I was right here. This is the list of questions that the app is going to ask the user starting out. If you think that there's anything that should be added here, please feel free to shout it out in chat. I'm marking all of the questions that I've already answered in my map green, and all of the stuff that I've decided I'm not going to add, I'm crossing out. It is going to be an app that, in chat, Julia asks, what kind of app is it? It is going to be an app that will help a business owner strategize how they want to create their website or how they want to maintain their website. And this is so that it's not teaching them how to build a website, it's teaching them how to think about how they want to set up their website. So at the end of the day, after they go through this whole questionnaire, it's basically taking them through a consultation that they would get from a standard like digital marketing agency or web developer or someone like you or me. At the end of the day, after they answer this whole nonsense web of questions, they're going to be given a report saying, okay, you want this type of hosting, you want to go with this type of service. Like, let's say that this is a small boutique that's getting started out. If they go through this entire app and answer all of the questions, and let's say that they do have branding guidelines, but they don't have a customer journey and they don't have a marketing strategy, and they know nothing about web design, they don't want to build it themselves, then ideally, once they go through and answer all of these questions, they will get an end report that says, okay, you want to hire a website designer. You don't need a branding specialist. You want to go with, if you're a boutique that's just starting out, you want to go with Squarespace. You want to think about your marketing strategy. And in order to do so, you want to reach out to a digital marketing agency. So just giving them suggestions as to here are the job titles that you're specifically looking for, here are the systems that you want to do a little bit more research into, so that they feel like they have a little bit more of a grasp about how to go about making their website and making it as effective as possible. Because there are so many people out there that just think, oh, you buy a subscription on Squarespace, you throw a couple of pictures up, and bada bing, bada boom, you got a website. How hard can it be? Or people on the opposite end who are just like, I'm just so overwhelmed, I don't even know what I'm doing. So right now, we're focusing on this question. Do you have any tracking and analytics needs? And like the answer is always yes, but more specifically, I want to get them thinking about what kind of tracking they want. Do they want to track user activity? Then they might want to invest in like a data specialist or a Google Tag Manager specialist who can really get minute and granular with a lot of those, tracking those metrics. Like they can implement tags that will track whenever somebody clicks on not just a button, but a specific button on a specific page. Or if they want to track sales, maybe they don't even want to go to their Google Analytics dashboard. Maybe they want to go with a point of sale system that has really good analytics integrated with it. Or if they want to see where their users are coming from, i.e. if they're coming from Google, if they're coming from like Facebook, if they're coming from so on and so forth, then they might be interested in an SEO specialist that can point them in the right direction. Another cool feature of this app is I'm highlighting some stuff in green, and the reason why I'm doing that is because I want there to be manager, or, oh boy, my streaming software is saying that, okay, cool. My streaming software said that it cut out for a second there, so I'm just going to go ahead and start from the top. Another cool feature of this app is that whenever you hover over a definition, one of these words that are highlighted in green, a tooltip will pop up giving like a brief definition of that particular thing, like SEO, like Google Tag Manager, like URL. And it'll have a link to like a more extended wiki that gives the user more information as to what that is. You know what, while I'm creating this wiki, I'm just going to throw in analytics and Search Console. So we've already covered the overview section. Right now we're delving into development. Soon we're going to get into design and content. So I just had an idea. Already I'm getting to the point where all of this is a little slippery, because it's hard to tell what should be included and explained versus what should just be referred. And there are a bunch of different paths that are starting to overlap, multiple different questions leading to the same point, which a user might have already answered by the time they get to that particular section. So I'm wondering if it's a matter of, to more effectively communicate with the user what they're filling out and what the end goal is, start with the end report and leave all of the sections blank except for a button that says start yada yada, so on and so forth. So they go down a particular path and it will add things to the report depending on what they choose. And then when they go back to the report to fill out another section, they'll see that possibly they've already filled out that section by virtue of answering the questions that they already have, if that makes sense. I think I want to include a media storage path. I feel like that's too in the weeds. I feel like most people don't care about media storage. So the name of the game, I think, for this app, and this is just good for website development in general, is try to make it as modular as possible. And what I mean by modular is, it's a fine line to toe, but if you have the ability to make little pieces that you can plug and play anywhere, then it can, down the line, help avoid repetition with some things. Now, you don't want to do this to such a minute detail that you're like, I don't even know how to explain this concept, but I guess long story short is we've kind of already begun this work by creating this almost path-like system where if they answer a question, they get something added to their end report. That's a modular design. And that's a way that, in this instance, we're using that to avoid asking the user the same question over and over and over again. Because if I were to do let's call it a static development, or a linear development, like almost in a Google form, where we ask one question, and then depending on the answer, you ask another question, and another one. And then you start another section, and you have another question that potentially leads them to a repeat of something that they might have already answered in the last section. Since you're going linear, you really don't have a choice, for the off chance that they haven't answered that question already, than to ask it again. But by splitting it up into chunks like this and not doing it linear, then we avoid that potential pitfall. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. I hope this makes sense. I feel like it's something that you kind of just have to live it in order to know it. Just gonna go back a little bit and clean up last week's work. It's it's not a good idea to constantly be going back and revising work before you reach the end of the first draft, but, no one ever said I was good at this job. That's a lie. I say that all the time. But, there's a difference between me saying it and somebody else saying it. So here's another thing that we can do that I'm running into right now. So for a number of people, it's a question of, do you have dynamic content that you need to display on your site? And dynamic content can be anywhere from a blog to a photo gallery to like an archive of images and stuff like that. So that definitely doesn't make any solid decisions for you. There are a number of systems that do allow you to do that stuff fairly easily, but it does rule some stuff out. So there are some content management systems that will not allow you, or at the very least are very frustrating to deal with if you have dynamic content. So another thing that we can do in order to help this system know what to recommend is kind of what we were doing up here last week, where we were taking all of these different industries and assigning them values to start recommending different paths or adding different paths to the app. We can do the same with, I'm trying to figure out where I want to put this. I might want to replace it with this because I decided to get rid of that section because it was just getting to be too much. We can create a table of content management systems and we can add tags to them. So for instance, one tag can be difficulty level. How hard is it to make a website in these different systems? And it can vary from easy to hard. So for instance, let's just do WordPress v Squarespace. And we can say Squarespace has a tag of easy, WordPress has a tag of hard, or intermediate. I've seen some non-devs succeed fairly well with WordPress. Now, if we're over here and we come up against a question that, again, can at least start eliminating some of those options, like for instance, if this question we're asking, or if we're going down to, do you want to build this website yourself? And the person says yes, and then they go all the way down here, then we can say the answer for here is exclude or filter out CMSs with the difficulty tag of hard. That way, if this is a person who has developed a website before, they feel fairly comfortable in website development tools, but they're not like an out-and-out web developer, so to speak, then it will recommend CMSs that don't need you to be a web dev, but aren't also limiting you, like some of the easy ones might. And then another tag that we can add is dynamic content, or yeah, let's just say dynamic content, meaning is it good for dynamic content or is it bad for dynamic content? Yes, no. And then we can add another tag, e-commerce. Good or bad? Yes, no. Actually, yeah, I'd have to do a little bit more work. I'm pretty sure that Squarespace can do dynamic content, but not well. You know what? Never mind. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say Wix is bad for dynamic content, because it very well is. And Wix is easy. It's weird because Wix is easy for people who aren't developers. I am a developer, and whenever I develop in Wix, I'm just sad. I'm sad, fellas. E-commerce. I'd have to do a little bit more digging into both of these. Technically, with Squarespace, I want to say yes, because it's possible, but all of the clients that I have keep saying that they want to get away from Squarespace because of the e-commerce aspects. So, like, that's another weird thing about this app, is that it's all very biased. It's based on my very limited worldview. Okay, content management system, Squarespace, Wix, Weebly, Showit. I'm just going to throw some stuff in there that's out there, but you know what, I'm going to add another one that says deaf friendly. And I'm going to do it on a scale of 1 to 3. So great, good, and bad. Squarespace isn't great, but it's good. Wix is bad. Showit is, as far as I can tell, good. Siphoninity is great for developers who actually know how to use it. Duda's good. I think Siphoninity is yes, technically. And this isn't tracking whether or not it has the ability. It's tracking whether or not I would recommend it based off of its ability. So even if all of these items listed do technically have an e-commerce functionality, would I recommend that e-commerce functionality? Let's also add budget. Budget might be hard. I'll keep it there, but I need to do a little bit more thinking before I can fill that out. Okay, what were we doing? Ooh, integrations is another tag. And again, I'm going to do that on a scale of 1 to 3. And Squarespace is just good with most things, but not great. I don't know about Wix, don't know about Weebly, don't know about Showit. Siphoninity is great, again, if you know how to use it. Because Siphoninity is super lightweight. You are building a lot of your tools from scratch. But that's what makes it very user unfriendly. Duda, I think, is good. No, I'd have to double check on that. Ooh, forum support. now that I think about it, there was another CMS I was looking into for a client like years ago that was specifically centered around forums. Okay, forgive me for a second. You guys are going to be looking at a blank screen because I need to look on my main browser with all of my secrets to try to remember what that... Ooh, to try to remember what that... what that CMS was. It was directory something. Was it Brilliant Directories? It was Brilliant Directories. Alright, I'm adding that to the list. I'd have to demo it to see if it's easy. I think it's easy. I feel like once upon a time I did demo it. God, this was 2021, I want to say. And now that I'm thinking about it, like there was another one that we were considering going with that might be a good option to put on here. Gee whiz, I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and say easy. Developer friendly, who knows? Nah, I'm gonna go intermediate. Nah, I'm gonna go easy. Dynamic content? Fuck yeah. Integration friendly? I think so. No. E-commerce? Fuck yeah. Yes, on forum support. Budget, I do think that they were, like, pretty expensive. Let's see. Oh boy. Yeah, it's like $145 a month. Jeez. Jeez Louise. I do also remember that they had a lot of plugins. But I think a lot of them were behind a paywall, like you had to pay bit by bit. Well, anyway. So another thing that I was thinking about working on is running a calculation, giving people an estimate of how much this might cost them, depending on the tools that are being recommended. And one way that we can do that, sorry I'm going back and forth because I'm wondering where I should note this, is we could average the low end and then average the high end to give them a range of cost, potentially. So if we do that, then what we can add to this table is budget low end. And then budget high end. For WordPress, we can't exactly fill this out because WordPress itself isn't the thing that costs. It's the hosting service that you use with WordPress. But at the very least, we can look up some of these costs for some of the more straightforward options. So let's go with Squarespace. What does your pricing look like, Squarespace? Oh, that's a good tablet view. Okay. Products. Tell me about it. Tell me about your pricing for your products. For a second, I thought that said 4 Portillos. And I'm like, baby, that's ours. Okay, good tablet view, except I want to know the price. Fellas, what about the price? Thank you. Okay, let's see. There's also the yearly versus the monthly cost. I'm just going to do monthly. I don't want to do that much work. I'm sick of it, fellas. I'm sick of it. No. Okay, budget low end for... Oh, that's WordPress. For Squarespace, it's 25 to 72. For Wix, by the way, I'm mostly shouting out like the ones that I encounter the most. If anybody in chat or watching the replay knows of anything that you think I'm grossly underestimating, then by all means, yell at me. Okay, so with Wix, low end is 17, high end is 159, but that's really more so for like agencies. Is it? Oh, I thought that said 15 sites, not 15 collaborators. Sheesh. Sheesh. All right, what about Weebly? Oh, you know what, Weebly, you've seen better days. That's a shame. Pricing. Oh, okay. Weebly is 0 to 26. Wow. Wow. Alright, show it. I don't know about you guys, but Show It just kind of showed up out of the blue for me. I had never heard of it before, but then as soon as I heard of it at a networking event, I didn't stop hearing about it. Alright, Show It, low end is 19, high end is 34. Okay. In all honesty, I don't really know how Progress or how Sitefinity bills. So I worked in Sitefinity way back in the day when I was employed with a bank, like a whole chain of banks across Michigan and Indiana, and they contracted in a marketing agency, a web design agency, that used Sitefinity to develop the site. And on our end, it was a terrible experience because they didn't give us any of the permissions that we needed in order to fix the things that they kept breaking. And actually, that's where I really sharpened my craft when it came to code injections and coding things from scratch, because there was a lot of stuff where I would just have to hack it and I would have to do a CSS/HTML code injection to actually get the website looking like it came from this century. But at the end of my tenure at that company, I finally was getting access to like a development environment, and they were giving me trainings on how Sitefinity works. So I'm pretty sure that Sitefinity is a lot like WordPress, where it's not a hoster, it's only the CMS. What does any of this mean? Can I get pricing? Cowards. All of them. No, I'm not ready to talk. Create experiences that connect, compress. Okay, it's a digital tool set. I mean, it sounds like a CMS. And it's telling me that I can start a trial, which indicates that at some point I will pay. Sure would love us. Oh, there's a search bar. Found it, guys. Are you serious? Why are you hitting me with a reCAPTCHA for a search bar? I don't want to recommend you to anybody. You're on the list, Sitefinity. And not just because of my trauma this time. You know what? Screw it. Let's start a free trial. Okay, so it does... So I'm guessing it's like WordPress.com, where it offers the option of hosting with them, but it also allows you to run it on your own server. So it's a CMS. Yeah, Sitefinity CMS. Alright, brother. I don't want to sign up. I just want to know how much you cost. I just want to know how much you cost. Is it one of those where you have to go through a vendor? Kind of like Google? Show me a price. Simply show me a price. All right, cool. How to buy. Show me a price. Show me a price. I want to see a price. That's all I want, is to see a price. Cowards. This isn't even Sitefinity. Okay, so does it price it like whatchamacallit? Amazon's hosting setup. What is it called? I can't remember. AWS. So is the pricing structure like AWS, where it's charging you for the server space and the bandwidth, not just for the server? Whatever, I'm moving on. This is boring. Fuck you, Sitefinity. It's 69. Nice. Sorry, fellas. I've been trying to cut back on the coffee and it's just giving me lots of yawns. I don't want to request a free demo, I just want to see your prices. That's all. Don't think I'm asking for too much. Truly, I do not. Okay, so this is interesting. Because I already had it pulled up over here now that I think about it. So it's not that they give you tier A, tier B, tier C. It's that they give you it in increments of how much commitment you want to give to them. So it seems like the tier A in this instance, the monthly plan, gets everything that the tier B gets, but they pay more for it. Or tier C gets, but they pay more for it. That's interesting. Okay. Okay, Brilliant Directories, making me think about things. So, like, you could just pay $1,500 to have to have server space forever. I don't understand how that's a good. I don't understand how that's a good business model. Because ultimately, you're now forever on the hook for maintaining that server space for a one-time payment that can barely cover rent, you know? Where do the money come in? Do you take a cut of all of the membership signups? Yeah, I don't know about that, Brilliant Directories. I don't know. I'm gonna have to question you on that. Anyway, remember when we were making an app? Fun times, am I right? Okay, so now we've had another curveball with our chart here, because ideally, if someone says, let's see, somebody says, do you want to build the website yourself? Yes. How many pages do you want on your website? 1 to 5. Then you want to filter out any CMSs with a difficulty tag other than easy, because you don't need dynamic content. You probably don't need third-party integrations or anything like that. Or at the very least, we don't know yet if you need any third-party integrations. However, technically, under this system, if we're filtering out everything other than an easy tag, then something like Brilliant Directories qualifies. And Brilliant Directories is very... it's very specific. Brilliant Directories is a CMS specifically for forums and directories. So, that was the other one that I wanted to add. Chamber management software. So then we'd have to add another tag that's like... Anyway, so it's tricky because now we have to add something else that can define whether or not a... whatchamacallit? A CMS, a content management system, is ideal for small sites or big sites. Because we don't want to filter them out based off of dynamic content, because then that gets rid of Squarespace, which is still a viable option for them. You know what, we can add another tag that says ideal for small sites or big sites. Because. Give me another row. Let me move this row. And we can add both. No. I'm just going to say, we can add more than one tag, but if we're working based off of filters, then if it has either tag, then it's going to filter it out. So let's say logic equals include multi tag equals easy. So what I'm doing here is that rather than doing a filtering system where it's binary, it's either or, I'm instead saying, I don't know what the actual term for it is, but I'm saying look for this tag. If this tag is present, then include. Not look for all of the other tags. If all the other tags aren't there or are there, exclude. Say site size, actually. Actually, let's do it numerically. Let's do it by, small. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We can remap it later. You're not using Brilliant Directories or Chamber Management software to... Is Chamber Management software a CMS? No, it's a CRM. I'm foolish. I'm foolish. I'm but a fool. I'm sorry to have let you guys down. I'm sorry that you're finding out this way. It breaks my heart as much as it breaks yours. What can I say? Okay, so... Alright, fellas, I'm gonna call it here. This has been swell, this has been grand, thank you for joining me. Sorry I wasn't talking for like the first, I don't know, hour or so. But yeah, keep it real. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the weather if you have good weather. Don't enjoy the weather if you have bad weather, because what did the weather ever do for you? You know what I'm saying? Peace.